While the ongoing conflicts involving the United States, Israel, and Iran is raising global concerns, particularly in the energy market. And as tension rises in the Middle East, experts say the situation could have significant economic and security implications for Africa and Nigeria in particular. Nigeria depends heavily on crude oil export to fund government spending and earn foreign exchange. Because of this, any major crisis affecting global crude oil supply often has direct consequences for Nigeria's economy. Well, let's bring in an economic development expert, an investment analyst, Mr. Ogbonna Okuku. He joins me live from Abuja for this conversation. Good evening, Mr. Okuku. It's good to have you on the news this evening. Yes, at first I'd like you to react to this. We see the price of crude surging so high like it's never been before, at least in a number of years. What does this mean for Nigeria, an oil-producing nation? Of course, refining is we're a bit dependent now locally on refining.
Yeah, basically, when this kind of things happen, two things. Is either you turn the crisis to Christmas, or the crisis will hold you down, depend on decisions you take. But basically, just like you said, since our refining capacity has increased, so what would have happened to us previously would have been the high revenue that we're getting from oil would have just plunged it back into importing refined products. But right about now, it's a bit almost at the point where we are not spending so much of our revenue from oil, importing petroleum products. But that does not mean that we have enough, enough to cushion, what's happening. But just like I said, it's a decision that we take at this time that will help us. So if we're going to take certain decisions around, using those high income to support local refining, to bring in, to support those who will be, doing things around alternative energy sources like renewable energy, diversify basically, to just have a rethink around, the kind of domestic, like I said, domestic refining infrastructure we have to boost those kind of, that kind of thing right now, because that's what we need. Because that the excess funds we're going to be getting at this point in time, like I said, if you turn the crisis to Christmas, it's going to help you a whole lot, because you're going to build based on the additional funding that you have. Because whether you like it or not, yes, nobody wants to, be proud of, any conflict. But I mean, it has happened. It happened. We can't change it. But I mean, but what we're going to do is take advantage of the fallout and then begin to, build our base, so that we can actually, withstand future, issues conflicts that will happen.
All right, the aviation sector also hit by this. We saw their stocks already dwindling one way or the other. You've seen negative trends, but today a bit of bouncing back one way or the other. But my question to you really would be, you talked about taking advantage of it. Are we ready as a country to take charge, take charge of this opportunity? And that's on one side. And what is your outlook, considering the impact of this on our ongoing reforms?
Okay, so if you look at it let's take the aviation sector, for example. Okay, companies, from in the UAE areas, because they can't move their usual flights that, that will go twice, from Nigeria, can't move anymore. So they are losing so much. So local aviation players like the Air Peace can actually take advantage of that to move people out of Nigeria. So if their structure is strong enough to evacuate people or help provide that same service that these other companies were providing, because whether you like it or not, they are now shut down. So somebody has to take that place. Somebody has to somebody has to do that job. But be that as it may, everyone at this point in time must be critical in their thinking, because, like I said, the decision we take at this time would either help our future, strengthening our economy in the future. Because what is the outlook if we're going forward? The prices of oil will continue to go up, but if we do not use the excess funds that we're getting from this conflict to support critical infrastructure that will help our economic growth, then raw material supply. I always say that, because if you're still going to spend a whole lot of your foreign exchange to be importing raw materials is not going to help in any way. Agriculture is something we must support. Infrastructure that will help boost our productivity are things we must focus on. Yeah. So we need to sit down on the table, look at the critical things that we must do, and strategically align ourselves, right, to be able to, take advantage of what is going on around the world now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ogbonna Okuku, for your contributions to the news at 7. Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me.
Economic development analyst there for us from Abuja. Well, the stock market